Hey, IDS 301. Welcome to Module 3. How's that one video per module working for you? It's working okay for me. Because in any event, I try to bring up important points, but typically I'm just reviewing the upcoming modules, so I don't think it's really a major loss. Um, if you find that I don't know what that note means I wrote, but I do know that if you see like your Easter eggs not there, or zeroed out. I mean, anything can happen. I make mistakes, and there used to be twice as many of them from two classes. I cut that back, but so some folks have emailed me about, there's a zero showing. I'm so glad you emailed me. I want to get those points back up. There's no intention on anything. Uh, so let me know. If you don't see your Easter egg scored, send me that same email again, and say I never got my 10 points for this. Okay, that's what it is. All right, I did change a couple of dates on things, and I'm probably going to do that going forward. And I'm going to have the work either be on a Thursday, Friday start to Saturday, Sunday. That's how we're going to do it, depending on the workload for that particular module. I think it's better for those who like to who need that time to prepare and then to get it done over the weekend. I still encourage you not to procrastinate. I still encourage you to take a look at what you're going to be doing so you can plan accordingly and what you'll need. Another beard trimming day wearing a black shirt. How dumb am I? It's going to drive me crazy all day. It's going to drive me crazy. Okay, sorry. Um, all right, so the discussion board 1.2, that was interesting. That was the Committee on Domestic Terrorism. And what I'd like to say about that is if you did not score well on 2.1, don't worry. Hardly anybody scored well on it. Okay. It's just a reality of it. In fact, if I look at the grades for discussion board 2.1, what was it worth? 40? Just FYI, one person got 40. Okay. And then it slid pretty quick out of the 30s. What I saw there, I guess, was, kind of a little bit of carelessness to reading the instructions. I'm trying to be as clear as I can. I know that looks very busy then, but I want to make this really clear. Note, remember what a discipline is, and conversely, what it is not. A discipline is not a profession, okay? And know that a discipline from your readings is, an individual box, individual silo of knowledge, academic scholarly knowledge, with its own sets of theories, research methods, nomenclature, and how it views other disciplines. So this is a key factor, especially in interdisciplinary, because if you have to know what interdisciplinary is, you got to know what it isn't, right? So know what a discipline is. First of all, it's not an occupation. Second of all, a discipline is not like the armed forces, the individual branches. A discipline is not that. It's something that you get a degree in. Okay. So some people got dinged for that. Some people got dinged for using the profession, before used. And frankly, I think this is quite a busy discussion board. I may have to change it. Because some people have a tendency to get really wordy, and I'm really not looking for that either. What I'm looking for, of course, is when it comes to interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary or transdisciplinary, I'm looking for a version of integration to define that, where multidisciplinary is not integrated, interdisciplinary is integrated. So again, let's talk about this. What might an intradisciplinary committee look like? Well, that's one discipline. Okay, so basically, it could be just a panel of psychologists. Okay, boom, you're done. What might a cross-disciplinary committee look like? A few got this one, and I was really happy you did. Most didn't. Cross-disciplinary again is a challenge. It's viewing, a thing that represents one discipline through the eyes of another. So I used the mathematics of music, okay, or the architecture of, or the sustainability of architecture. In this case, you could use you could use uh, sociologists viewing domestic terrorism through a lens of religious studies. Okay, and that's it. But it's a through point there, right? Multidisciplinary committee is a committee with representation from two or more disciplines. Psychologist, I just screwed up. See, the first one is psychology with psychologists. Second one is what did I say? Sociology through religious studies. Okay, my bad. See how I got to take care of this. But either way, if it would have been conceptually correct, I think I would have given it to you. Multidisciplinary, so psychology, psychologists, religious studies, imams, political science, politicians. And again, they don't have to be those things, but to name the discipline is what you need to do first. Okay. And so how it functions is that they sit down, they find out what their task is, and they go out and do it. Okay? They don't worry about each other. They just go out and look at it the way they have to. Interdisciplinary, that's us. Two or more disciplines integrated. So you can use exact same ones. Political science, politicians, religious studies, imams. It could be imams, pastors, rabbis, priests. And it could be economics and economists, okay? And they're going to stay there and they're going to integrate their knowledge. They're going to talk to each other. This is a key factor and how it differs from multi. They're going to talk to each other, right? Okay, and then transdisciplinary, while it seems tricky, that circle in a diagram with the problem in the middle, and then it drives whatever disciplines are going to be chosen for it that are appropriate, as well as outside stakeholders, non-academic non-disciplinary stakeholders. Okay, domestic terrorism, and you could have, some religious studies people, you could have some economists, you can have some sociologists, but then you can also have Chamber of Commerce, you can have victims' rights groups, things like that, right? That are not disciplinary. So that's what we're looking at there. All right. So let's see. The plans of study you turned in, they were good. I think it was the best class overall that I saw that actually you put their DARs in there. I guess maybe I was more clear, but really you did it, unless you don't have a DARS, which is okay if you explain it to me. There wasn't much I could say about it. I'm not going to say, hey, this is wrong, hey, this is right. So I made my comments, and I hope that doing that plan of study helped you gain a little bit more context on your academic plan and your journey, right? So, okay, let's do Easter egg number 1, which was big in terms of the discussion board previously discussed, and that was capitalize disciplines. This does not mean capitalize the word discipline unless it starts a sentence. It means capitalize disciplines. It means if you're talking about business in terms of the academic discipline, you capitalize it. If you're talking about business as in the mom and pop store up the street, it's not capitalized. If you're talking about psychology as an academic study, you capitalize it. Okay, so Easter egg 1 is simple. Capitalize discipline. All right, I got the hiccups now. I'm yawning. Everything's going haywire. Oh, I started insulin this week. That was fun. Okay, so that was discussion board 2.1, right? 2.2, I think, was describing an interdisciplinarian. Why am I scrolling all the way to the bottom of this discussion board? This is so dumb. But once you commit, you just got to see the end of it. Okay, describe an interdisciplinarian. Some people didn't make the minimum word count. It's right there, 250 words. If you didn't get it, I ding you appropriately in terms of the percentage of what you didn't do, all right? When you see something like it at 3 prompts, 1, 2, 3, I would love to see 1, 2, 3. Doesn't have to be numbered, but I can see 1 paragraph space, 2 paragraph space, 3 paragraph. If you're writing a lot, I want you to break it up even further. But I wanted to be clear, okay? Don't give me this not a wild goose chase, I forget what it's called, but I've got to look and find where one thing ends, where another one starts. It's just too much. It's too much. Okay, so then we have the quiz. Everybody who wanted to take it, took it. And let's get into module 3, I think. Module 3. Okay, we got Tanner, chapters 3, 4, and 5. Look what I got. Yay, I got it in the mail. So I got the old one and the new one. For the life of me, I can't see the difference. So I'm going to go page by page soon, but right now it seems the same. If you're having trouble, remember I sent that notice out. If you're having trouble and you have the second edition and it goes bye-bye and they tell you got to get this, let me know. I think Vital Source is the one that's giving people trouble, not Red Shelf. But let me know, okay? 'Cause readings are so important, especially now because we're getting into chapter 3, 4, and 5. And if you look, the names of those chapters are Theories of Interdisciplinarity and Integrative Learning, Chapter 4, Critical Thinking and Epistemology, and Chapter 5, Integrative Learning. These are huge. I'm not going to sit here and spend all my time teaching of this stuff as much as you can read it, all right? This is not the way this course is set up, obviously, and unfortunately, or fortunately. These are all important concepts. These 3 chapters are only about 18 or 19 pages, okay? You got this. There's very good information here, and I can't emphasize it enough. For you to feel comfortable about the field of study you've chosen, this is foundational material that you need, okay? You really need this. Because like I said, I think too many times this program might be slipping into a double major kind of thing. We are not teaching students how to integrate. You're lucky you landed on this class. You're going to learn more about integration here than other classes, okay? So it's very important. You're introduced to the common IDS models, Repco, Newell, and Klein. And then the one I use in 302, the Tanner model. Okay, so you take 302 with me, you don't need a new book using that one. The Tanner model we found, Dr. Presdia and I found that it was just more concise and better suited to teach at this level than the Repco, Klein, or Newell models, which are very extensive and used in higher level postdoc, grad school type of work, okay? The attachment by Petrie, do you see what I see? Oh, it like Dr. Prestia wrote, this article is an IDS classic. Study it well. It is a classic. You'll have fun looking at the optical illusions and reading about things. It is a classic. There will be a test. There will be a quiz. Okay, of course. Then we're going to get into discussion 3.1, learning from the gecko. Go to the link, view this video of biologists or some experts studying the gecko and certain aspects of how a gecko moves. And I think you'll be fascinated, even if you're not a science person, you're more humanities like me. You'll be fascinated by this and how they had a revelation and what that revelation was. And you'll be writing about that in a discussion 2.2, I think, or somewhere. Wow, I hope you're writing about it. Yeah, discussion 3.1, learning from the gecko. And it's very interesting and fascinating. And then you'll see a little, like a 1-minute commercial for the Mighty Mug. I don't know why this thing disappeared off the market, but I'm sure you'll like it. And I'm sure you'll understand the connection between the two and why it seems important and why it is a visual demonstration of the manifestation of interdisciplinary studies and integrative thinking. Okay. All right. So let's onward we go. Pay attention to word minimums. Okay. And make sure you can get those minimums attained. Okay. Let's go with IDS. Well, no, let's go Easter egg number 2. You know what I was going to say because still people aren't taking me seriously. You're just not. IDS equals integration. I'm not going to say into freaking gration because I'm like, God, come on. Some of you get it. I'm seeing some people use 9 integrations in their discussion board of what an interdisciplinarian does. Yes, that's it. Stop trying to figure out another way to say it. It's not fusion. It's not synthesize. It's not combine. It's not mix. It's not blend. Go with integration. This is what your stepping stone is to defining this field and how it opens doors for you. Because if you're fumbling through and saying fusion one time, what does that mean? Synthesize, what does that mean? you're gonna stumble over yourself, in my opinion. Okay, do what you want. Hey, do what you want. Uh, like turning this thing off right now. So IDS equals integration. To me, it says, okay, it's so close. It's like this little step to integration, because IDS is what the field is. Integration is what we do. Okay, we don't think out of the box. We don't use multiple points of view because that's multidisciplinary. Okay, so it's really important, really important. And again, you cannot use it too much. Okay, so Module 3 discussion 3.2 deals with the Do You See What I See handout reading. So assimilate that, as Michael would say, and not me, and then do that. Quiz is 30 points, 30 questions. I wanted to do 30 minutes, but I did 40. Okay, and that should be simple. They are open book, of course. That's why I try to cut down the times you can look up the answer. But as long as you're absorbing some of it, that's cool. We're going to have something coming up in a couple modules called the MAPS assignment. I'd like to introduce you to that. If some of you want to skip ahead, just take a peek at what the MAPS is, because this is where my 301s just stumble and just break down. They just, oh my God, they're just, because it is actual work, but it's about your concentrations. So get ready with your 2 concentrations, whatever they are, and you in organizational studies, we have that fixed up too. And you're going to be looking, there's not going to be anything in that module except the maps, basically. There's no quiz. I don't even know if there's discussions in that module 5. Let's see. For module 5. There's not. There's no discussions. There's no quiz. There's only the maps 1 and maps 2. All due, one due on Saturday, one due on Sunday. That's to keep them separate. All right. You might want to start taking a look at that. It's going to be due here in a couple, 3 weeks. I like how I say couple, 3 weeks. And do I say enough? And they're not to be dismissed or shortchanged. They're worth 75 points apiece, and they are important. Keep doing what you're doing in terms of your formatting and things like that. What else did I want to say? Well, I want you to keep asking me questions. Set up Zoom or call with me anytime. If you want to go over anything, want to talk about something that's going on with your academic journey and that. I love engaging with my students. It's fun. Keeps me, fresh in terms of, there's people of all ages in these courses, and I really enjoy that. What was I just thinking of? I was going to tell people. Oh yeah, I was watching. Well, of course, we have the 9/11 coming up, 20th anniversary. For those of you, I mean, we're getting to that point. My son is 21, and so he was just like 15 months when it happened. Many of you were just born right before that, or even my oldest son he turned 10 the day after on September 10th. He'll be 30 on this one. And so it brings back a lot of memories and a lot of tough things. In fact, I usually wear my 9/11 shirt. What's wrong with me? I might have to change this one for my OGL class, or maybe I'll just wear it next week. I always just pull it out once a year. I bought it at the Game 7 of the World Series game here in Arizona when they were playing the Yankees, and the New York Fire Department was here and selling shirts. I had to get one just to support that sacrifice they all made. And I've been watching a lot of videos, not a lot, new ideas about that. I've also just got done watching the O.J. Simpson trial on Netflix that came out. It's fascinating. And I believe that in terms of an integrative analysis, those of you who weren't around then, weren't conscious then, weren't at least 18 in 94, I think it was, right? Or 96, 94. So 84 is anywhere. So basically, any of you that are kind of under 45, I might have trouble with this, but it was such a fascinating moment because we were a couple of years after the LA riots and Rodney King and the cops getting off for that. And you had the convergence, the integration of kind of new media. There was no social media, but there was new media. There was video now, even though it might have been handheld camcorders and didn't have phones, it was there. We're starting to see what would happen in the streets. You had race relations, cultural relations, economic differences. We had so many things going on. Plus, you had the LA, the Brentwood type. It was just fascinating to see what happened with that. And so I encourage any of you that remember that or don't, to take a look at it. It was on Netflix. Other than that, I know I'm draining this, but I'm trying to make you earn 10 points. You're going to do that. Okay, Easter egg number 3. Do the readings. Do the readings. Because if you don't, you're shortchanging yourself in your academic journey and you ain't going to learn squat. Okay? That's it for me. Forks up. Peace.